feel like Superman to tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. I feel to air it out, air it out. I hate it, clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman to tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. Take off. I'm on a rocket, a space dog. Bought a new car from Elon, wanna race. I've been asking how long is it gonna take. I've been cracking the car, had to break it safe. I've been riding my wrongs, had to change my ways. I was stuck in one place, so I had to shake. They try holding me down, but I found my way. Roddy Rich and so bicycle love me. Ride away, then my heart went on ice again. Find the balance, my patience been going thin. In the field every day till I reach the end. I've been up on your side like we out of bounds. Ain't no way that they think that it's stopping now. I've been waiting for my time to come around. I've been waiting for my time to come around. Air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out. I feel to air it out, air it out. I had to clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman and tear it down. Call as a quarterback and send him out.
What is up, football fans everywhere? It's the Air It Out podcast, brought to you by Inside the Hashes. I am your host. My name is Avery Collins, and I'm joined by two of the very best analysts on the planet. Coach, say what's up to the people, man. How you doing?
People, if you are in Philadelphia, today has been a hot one, so I'm sorry. I'm just super hot, super tired. But hey, I'm always down to talk football. I'm always here for it. So let's go.
All right, as are we. You know, yes, the weather is getting good around here. Thankfully, summertime is the springtime. It's right around the corner. We here.
I don't know if it's spring or summer, but oof, it's something.
Listen, it's warm. How about that? I'm okay with that. Darius, welcome back, sir. What's going on? How you doing? How you living?
Hey man, it's always good to be back. Like Darren said, man, we talking football. I hope everybody is staying cool because it's hot. It's real hot outside. Staying cool. And we counting down to the days because we got the NFL draft. Draft is coming up.
It's like 2 weeks away.
We're gonna see some surprise trades. So I might see some surprise trades coming up this year's draft. But I'm excited to talk football, so can't wait.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely spicy outside. And, yes, the NFL draft is on the way. Don't forget to tune in. You know we go live every year. We got to get the draft reactions popping. That's right here, Inside the Hashes. Yeah, we do that too. I know. But listen, today is about the Air It Out podcast. And we're going to jump right into it today. We're going to jump right into our topics. We're not going to waste your time. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the off season has been going. It continues, okay? And we all know that the off season is just absolutely, I guess you could say chaotic in a sense, in some ways. Very, very interesting. But we're going to start today with some off season news that Dan and Tanya Snyder have reached a preliminary agreement, right? They are agreeing to sell the Washington Commanders to the Josh Harris Group for a whopping $6.05 billion. I did not say million. $1 billion, ladies and gentlemen.
The big B.
$1 billion. This will tell you, just a little bit of how much how much money the NFL got. But my question to you guys is, what do you think about this? I mean, is this a situation where you believe that they were strong-armed into this, or was it just time? Hello, Mother. Thank you for tuning in.
I think, first of all, $6.6 billion. I didn't know they were worth that much. They couldn't even get their name correct, JK. But I think it's a little bit of both, right? Like, Washington has been under scrutiny ever since, they decided to have their name as the Redskins, right? Then they went through the whole process of changing their names, and they changed their name. Then it was the Washington football team. Then they did the Commanders. But I think it was finally time for Dan Snyder to just sell the team, right? It's under new ownership. You got Ron Rivera, who I think is arguably one of the best coaches in the league right now. And I think this is going to really propel this team in the right direction, right? I think that's what, in a weird way, I think the sell of the team was kind of holding them back, right? Because every day that was probably a question that reporters are going to ask the players. How do you feel about the team possibly being sold, right? Like, what's your opinion on Dan Snyder and different things like that? And those are questions that reporters are going to ask players, coaches, and it can be a bit of a distraction. So I think from a standpoint of Dan Snyder, I mean, he just sold his team. That's a nice bag for him, right? Like, he is set for life. His kids is set for life. But I think now we're going to see a different Washington, a different Commanders team. I think we're going to see a better Commanders team now that that's behind them, right? Like, they don't have to worry about the Dan Snyder fiasco anymore. Now it's how can we look forward? And I think this is the first step in the right direction. And I love how it happened right before the draft, because now this team can really focus on the draft and they can focus on the 2023 NFL season. So from that standpoint, I think it's good. And Dan Snyder, he's set. You don't got to worry about nothing anymore. It's the last thing I'm saying. I just hope that this new ownership team just puts the proper people in charge, so where they can just go to the games and they can just watch and be a fan. Like, I don't really like owners who are too involved. I feel like if you're an owner, just put the right people to succeed where you can just really be a fan, right? And you come to me with, hey, I want to do this. Okay, good. I trust you. I trust that you're going to put us in a position to to fill our seats and, put us in contention to win the Super Bowl. So I'm hoping that that's what this new ownership does for this team.
Yeah. I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. You touched on something, Dan Snyder having come up, right? He bought the team in 1999 for $800 million. He's now flipping that for $6 billion. $6 billion. I mean, that is definitely a
nice flip.
It's definitely a come up. I mean, for those who don't know, this Harris Group is a group of many people, including including David Blitzer, who's the part owner of the Crystal Palace FC. That's a soccer team. He also owns the Philadelphia Sixers and the New Jersey Devils.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's now moved into football ownership as well.
He has already a part ownership in the Premier League, so I mean, he's already been with football.
And Mitchell Rales, who's a DC billionaire, and yes, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Fame basketball player Irving Magic Johnson. They're all part of this Harris Group. Again, this is going to be very interesting. I mean, Rales himself has a net worth of $5.5 billion. By himself. Yeah, by himself, he has a net worth of $5.5 billion. So it's like, but anywho, Coach, my question to you is, do you feel that this does, in fact, change the trajectory of what the Washington Commanders can be on the field?
Not yet. I think it is a yes in a long-term point of view. But immediate dividends, no, I do not. I feel like there's still a couple more things that need to get done. So first off, I like the fact that Magic Johnson, a big name, and not only is a bigger name, but the African-American male, is about to possibly be a part owner of an NFL organization. Let's not underscore what that means. To have someone in the room. We got someone in the room now. So that's what I'm very happy about with all of this. I think it's been time for him to leave and sell the team. I think it was time after the multiple allegations, the multiple suits, the multiple scrutinies, the fact that the team had to switch, and there was such a public display of, I don't want to switch this name. When we all see how arrogant and derogatory that term was. And for it to be used for so long with everyone else changing their names and understanding what it is nowadays and kind of how that term is looked at, it took that long for them to change it. And then in the way they did it, all of these things adding up, I think it's been time for Dan Snyder to sell. But the fact that it's happening now, I agree with Darius. It's working well, and it's allowing them to start to finally build something. I'm also going to agree with you on this. I think Riverboat Ron might need to go. I think Riverboat Ron might need to go.
That man does
and don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I like Riverboat Ron as a coach, but I do not like him with the Commanders. I do not like him with the Commanders. I'll make it quick. I think Riverboat Ron needs a more veteran-led team. This team, I do not see him being able to do what he needs to do with him. It's nothing against him. I think he's a great coach. I just don't like the fit with the Commanders per se.
I think the Commanders are a quarterback away from really being a threat in the NFC. They're a quarterback away.
I
think about it
100% with that. I mean, I think Ron Rivera is the coach that can take. He's not a QB coach. We know that, right? Like he's not a QB whisperer, but he doesn't have to be because he's a great defensive-minded coach, and he knows how to play winning football. He knows how to get the best out of his players. They've got great wide receivers in Scary Terry and came over from. I'm sorry.
I think it's Josh Dotson.
Josh Dotson.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
CJ Samuel.
Yes. Plus, you got Antonio Gibson, and they just drafted last year. Came back after getting shot in the leg.
Brian Robinson
comes at and the offensive line isn't terrible. Their defense is pretty good. The names of the Commanders, well, they ain't doing that.
There you go.
Thank you. Say that again. But
spoken like a true.
That's what an Eagles fan is gonna say.
Spoken like a true Eagles fan.
That's not like an Eagles fan.
But what I'm just saying, like I think Ron Rivera, you get a quarterback that can do some things. Ron Rivera is a phenomenal coach in that sense.
And people forget they just got Eric Bieniemy. Like. The Commanders are a quarterback away. We're saying this today.
So don't
quarterback that if they get a quarterback that can sling that ball. I'm telling you, with that defense and Ron Rivera, every said it. He's a defensive minded guy. They're gonna be a top 5, top 10 defense.
I'm gonna say something, and I might be hated for it. I'm gonna really say something, and I might be hated.
Taylor Heineke took him to the playoffs. Come on.
So again, I'm about to say something that might be a little controversial, and I might be hated for it, but it's okay. I'd rather Eric Bieniemy be the head coach there than Riverboat Ron.
I mean,
I prefer that over Riverboat.
So
again, it's nothing.
Why? My question is why.
Okay. Riverboat Ron is a defensive guy, and he has shown that unless he is almost given
there we go, Curtis. Thank you.
Again, unless he's basically given a quarterback, there's nothing he can do, and he will be a mediocrity person. And if you're at mediocrity, you're never going to be able to get, unless you're going out in free agency, those really top high-end quarterbacks in the draft. And in free agency, you have to go out and get them. And he's tried that twice now, I believe, or at least once, and failed miserably. I don't see that being the case for Eric Bieniemy. I feel like you start over and fresh.
I think you're ignoring some factors in that regard. I think you're ignoring the fact that, one, it's the Washington Commanders, right? It's not like it's LA or Vegas or New York.
Oh, don't get it wrong. I understand that. But
that's number one. That's just number one. Number two, Dan Snyder was the owner. Don't nobody want to play for him? Nobody wants to play for him.
Again, fresh start. If you're going to get a new ownership, get the new coaching. And again, I'm not saying it's on him and what he did was wrong. I just think he needs to move on. Unfortunately, again, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying it's a great thing he leaves, but I just feel like he should have had that job.
All I'm saying is this. Ron Rivera has proven to be a great coach. Eric B has not. Why would you, and I get the premise of new ownership, new regime, top to bottom, but you're not far away from being a really competitive team. Nah. The locker room loves Ron Rivera. He knows how to coach. I mean, he got Cameron Newton. Now, granted, Cam was absolutely out of his mind that year, but he got Cam Newton to a Super Bowl. He got Cam Newton an MVP. Like,
with no weapons.
Let's not forget that.
Weapons.
No. So I'm not going to make a comparison. That's going to be very crazy.
Let's not forget that defense was top 5 that year. Let's not forget that he built those defenses that are that's currently in Carolina. Like, this is no joke here. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna make one comparison, and I want y'all to understand why it's similar. Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr. And again, we did not know what. Oh, we can because Steve Kerr. We did not know.
That's disrespect. First of all,
it's not because again. Are we saying that Mark Jackson's a bad coach?
Let's tell it what it is. That's disrespect to Mark Jackson. Okay,
it's not.
Because yes, it is. Steve Kerr has Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I'm sorry, but you're not about to sit and tell me that.
You also just named again a great top 5 defense and multiple different weapons on that offense. I never said it's exactly the same.
Let me finish.
But we also said they're a quarterback away.
Let me finish.
Quarterback.
He was literally building that team. Mark was literally building that team. They were going further.
What has Ron been doing the last 2 to 3 years?
They were going further and further every single year. Steph and Klay were finally coming into their own, and then they ripped Mark Jackson out of there, put Steve Kerr in there, and we all know why. Because they saw the dynasty of these two jokers coming, and do they really want a black coach to be the face of that? Stop playing with me, man. Like, we're not about to do that.
Unfortunately, I wasn't even putting a race into it. I'm saying it purely off of, again, listen, Ron Rivera has been building this team up and up over the years. He's been building a team that's away, again, as you said, quarterback away.
How long has he been?
If you put the enemy in there and put him with a quarterback.
This is the difference.
Hold on.
The difference is this is football. The difference is this is football. It takes longer to build a championship contending team. Ron has steadily been doing that, and as we just said, he's a quarterback away. That has nothing to do with him as him as a coach. Nothing.
Again, I never said it was the same way. It wasn't nothing with Mark Jackson as a coach.
Listen, all I'm saying.
But you know what? I agree with Chris. Let's stop talking about these Commanders. And
I don't agree.
That really matters. Let's talk about somebody that really matters.
Rest is blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that because Draymond wasn't who he is right now. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I'm not, but this is the Air It Out podcast.
But Draymond also will unlock because Steve Kerr put him out there. The same way Eric Bieniemy will unlock a couple of these guys when he's getting them out there. I'm just saying.
Well, as a head coach, you got to remember, as a head coach, you're the leader of the entire team, not just the offense, the entire team.
Oh yeah,
the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Breyer has proven that with the right quarterback. Or a quarterback, he can take a team to the Super Bowl.
And Mark Jackson proved that he was a great coach in his own right, and he still got the X. And again, that's why I said it would be a similar comparison. But again, let's move into a better topic.
It's not similar. This is not the on the hardwood podcast. Stop playing like David Lee wasn't nice.
David Lee was getting buckets.
Stop playing like David Lee was like
David Lee definitely was a double.
Like he was wasn't a walking double. After Baron Davis and Steven Jackson and all them jokers.
He was a walking bucket.
David Lee was out there getting buckets. Stop playing.
He was giving you at least 20.
Stop. Yes. Was he a defensive liability? Of course. Yes. Draymond absolutely changed the defense of that team. We get yes, but that boy David Lee was out here getting.
That boy was a bucket.
That was the average 16 and 9, my guy. That was him,
man. But we're going to jump into the next topic, okay? As I stated before, the offseason continues, and we've had some moves made. I think we have two podcasters who are pretty happy today. myself and Coach, because two signings in particular affect us very, 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 very close to home. Well, really, like at home. I'm talking about Jeff Okudah signing with the Atlanta Falcons. Stop it. Yeah, listen, it's not on the hardwood. It's not on the hardwood. I will jump on the Running Back podcast and I will debate this all day. But anyway, as I was saying, Jeff Okudah signs with the Atlanta Falcons in a trade coming over for a 5th-round pick. Mind you, Jeff Okudah is a former 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft. He's only been in the league for 3 years. This will be year number 4 coming up. Obviously, injury history has plagued him, but last year had his best year. He had double digits in pass deflections, only 1 interception, but he did pretty well on a Detroit team that looks to be moving in a different direction from in what they're doing with down there in Detroit with I can't remember Coach Dan
Campbell.
Thank you. Right.
Oh yeah, they revamped that entire secondary.
But with that being said, he now comes to be ready to run block. That's good. But now he comes into an Atlanta defense that already has AJ Terrell, so there's no pressure on him to be the number 1 guy. Jesse Bates just came in too short the back, and it looks really good. But then you also got Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham Jr., ladies and gentlemen, signs with the Baltimore Ravens for a total of $18 million, $15 million guaranteed, giving Lamar Jackson, if Lamar Jackson is there, if he stays, that much-needed weapon if Odell can be any semblance of what he was a year and a half ago before the injury. When I met Okudah in Atlanta last year, he was training with AJ Terrell. They are boys. I love it. I hope they shut it down. I hope they lock it up. So I'm going to start with you, Darius. You speak on the Falcons and their signing of Jeff Okudah. What do you feel? Actually, What do you feel about that? Do you think that changes things in the NFC South, or do you just think it just changes things for their team? Darius, if you are speaking, we cannot hear you. I think we're having some technical difficulties.
Who's going?
You.
Oh man, these technical difficulties.
It's like really laggy. Nah. Can you hear me? This thing's lagging.
It's lagging. It's lagging a bit. It's lagging a bit. So we're gonna jump the coach, and we're gonna
talk about the real news here.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you speak on Odell signing with your Ravens. I'm just gonna put it. How do you feel? How do you feel?
You see a smile? You see that big cheesy smile? I love it. Why? He's a Ravens wide receiver now. Odell has finally hit the part where he becomes a Ravens wide receiver. And I'll explain what I mean by that. He's over 30. He's had injuries, histories, but he's been a great player in his own right in the past. Tell me that is not a Raven receiver. Tell me that's not a Raven receiver. That's the only guys we go after in free agency. From the Derek Masons to the Anquan Boldens. And he's going to fill in, honestly, in that same type of role. I don't see him having that same type of super explosion as he was as a young guy. But Odell can make catches. We all know that. We all know Odell can make a big play when needed, big third downs. And I see him doing something similar, but being able to move around, a little bit more versatilities than some of the guys we've had prior. So having him, Rashad Bateman, now on both sides, along with Mark Andrews, along with our running game in the back, along with even the guy like Devin Duvernay. And hear me out, I know he over here still dropping passes, but a Nelson Aguilar, actually pretty solid weaponry for a guy like Lamar Jackson. So I love the sign. I'm not super happy about the price, but I do like the way that they did the pricing, as allowing it to be the avoidable years and allowing it to be pushed down the line a little bit, allowing us to still be able to match anything if Lamar Jackson is going to be the one as our quarterback from here on out. I like it. Stop. It's not happening. No. Y'all have y'all Desmond Ritter. No. Ooh, that's nice. That would be nice.
Listen.
Just saying that would be nice, though. I'm just saying.
Okay, so let me say this. I love Odell to Baltimore. I wish the Ravens would have made a bigger move. I mean, because as much as I love Odell, the injuries are a question. We got to see if he's still going. If he's going to be the same Odell from before. And so that's the question. Is Odell going to be able to bounce back from these injuries? But if he is, I mean, you got somebody who's, when healthy, I mean, he's still top 5. Like, in my opinion, like when he's healthy, he's still top 5. I mean, like I said before, I stand by this. If he didn't get hurt, he's winning MVP of that Super Bowl.
Yes, he is.
Just
absolutely. And that is why I'm fine with the signing, because again, he played that Super Bowl with no ACL.
They couldn't guard him. So I think for me, I'm gonna go and say I love that signing. It's a sure-handed guy, obviously, with Odell. Mark Andrews already. Bateman coming into his own. Duvernay, who can just flat out fly and move. I like their core. I love it. Atlanta's in love with Tyler Algier. Let me touch on the Falcons here. Jeff Okudah, man, I love it. I love this move because one, it takes the pressure off of him. Number one, number two, he's in a new scenery, right? So it's a little bit less pressure on him now, especially because he doesn't have to be the number one guy anymore, right? At this point, nobody's going to look at him like you're a former number 3 overall pick. It's like, we get it. You're not that guy anymore. It's okay. AJ Terrell's going to be looked at as the number 1 guy who's going to be guarding those number 1 receivers. And like I said, getting Jesse Bates to shore up the back end is amazing. And we did not lose any of our other secondary guys who are young, i.e. Richie Grant and Jalen Hawkins on the back end as well. So we've got 3 safeties who are familiar with starting and playing, and so now you can be versatile in that. And if I remember correctly, I don't think Casey Hayward is not off the team. I believe he's still on the team. I think he's just injured. So you're talking about it now, a vet corner who can mentor these guys as well. I think that they made a lot of moves that I really like. I wouldn't mind having a Bijan Robinson in the draft. However, to Jerome's point, Atlanta does love Tyler Algier. He silently went over 1,000 yards in his rookie season last year after not even starting the first 6 games. And so that was a pretty amazing feat. But I wouldn't mind a Bijan. I think that would be a really, really good move. But for me, I want pass rush. I want at least Okudah got a good safety to hide when he gets burnt. Still a Buckeye. Sorry. Not sorry. I still want pass rush because those things will hide the glaring issues, if there are any, in Jeff Okudah's game, more than having Jesse Bates will. Having a pass rush will make almost any corner look like a Pro Bowler, right? So if we can go pass rush, I'm not mad at that. We have Arnold Ebiketie and Jalen Carter. We just re-signed. If they can generate pass rush, cool. But for me, I want pass rush. So if Will Anderson is there, go get that brother. If he's there, go get Will. Point blank. Period. I don't want nobody else. I said it. Darius, what are your thoughts? Briefly, Jeff to Atlanta and Odell to Baltimore.
Now that I'm not lagging anymore, I figured it out. I love, like I was saying, I love what Atlanta is doing, right? Like Atlanta is totally revamping that secondary. You get Jeff Okudah, AJ Terrell, who I think is probably one of the best young corners in the league. And then now you got Jeff Okudah, right? Then you got JC Bates back there, a center field type safety. So I love what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. I love this. I love the trade, right? And for a 5th round pick, you get a 3rd overall pick for a 5th round pick. You won that trade. It just matters of how Atlanta is going to use them, right? I don't know how Atlanta.
Let me jump in here as well. That we also could turn that into a 2nd round pick as well. We also turn that if I can't remember what the stipulation is for that to happen, but that can turn into a 2nd round pick for us as well. So that's super dope. I like it. But continue. And you're a little laggish again.
And then so and then Odell, I mean, for $15 million, you just hope that you're getting the Odell that was producing, right, with the Giants, and the I think for Lamar, I don't think Odell signs if Lamar isn't going to. I generally don't think that was the case. So I think both of these guys are going to set each other up for because now a 1,000-yard receiver. So I love the signing for both, man. I love those. Those two.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it at all. I like both. I like both signings. One signing, one trade. I like the moves. I think, I agree with you that Atlanta is making some moves in that secondary, and I love it. But again, for me, if you can't put pressure on the quarterback, it's just not enough. You gotta put pressure on these quarterbacks, especially with how these quarterbacks are being
pressure, burst, pipes.
Like,
and these quarterbacks nervous. It's needed.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying, like, I think we need to really invest. Grady Jarrett has just been holding it down for years, but he can't do it by himself anymore, man. He's gotta get that man some help. He tried with Marlon Davidson, missed. He's not that guy. So I just, I don't know. If Jalen Carter falls to that spot, to number 8, then I'm like, all right. If it's Jalen and Will, then I'm like, do I want to get pass rush and stop the run? Because Jalen Carter is just a phenomenal interior defensive lineman.
You want to do both.
Or do I want to just pass rush off the edge? But then it's like, but if we do that, now you're taking either Jalen or Arnold Ebiketie out, which could stop their progression and their growth. I don't know. If I was the Falcons, I would go for Jalen Carter without question if they're both there. But I don't think Jalen's going to be there, so I would go Will Anderson.
Now let me ask you a quick question, and I thought about this as you mentioned this guy's name. And don't take no disrespect to this Grady Jarrett. I've always thought of you as a discount or a great value, Aaron Donald. And I'm not even saying that in a disrespectful way. It's just he has shown everything that Aaron Donald can do, but
I love it.
No, you should have held your comment to yourself, Mikey. Sorry, you should have held your comment to yourself on that one. But again, I always seen him as similar to Aaron Donald, but he just never had enough help. Aaron Donald at least got help after a while. Grady Jarrett has never. Do you believe that Grady Jarrett could have been close to, or at least on that same level, maybe, than Aaron Donald if he had help?
No, because Aaron Donald doesn't need help. Like he is scary good. Aaron Donald is otherworldly. Like it doesn't.
Again, great value. Like a great value. Aaron Donald.
Trust me, I get it. She's the better Braxton. That's funny. I think Brady had potential to be Chris Jones-esque more than Aaron Donald is. Again, he's a generational talent. Like that dude is an absolute freak of nature. He's just different, and you don't come across that type of guy.
Oh yeah, no. That's why I said he is and that's why I stated that he's like the great value version. Because he's not.
I think from a skill set standpoint, I get what you're saying. right? I think they play similarly, but
Very similar.
I think Aaron Donald has way more leverage. He plays with his hands much better. He's stronger. And he's got a better motor. I think again,
I would consider Aaron Donald more so with the Reggie Whites and the and the Warren Sapps of the world than I would Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett would be the who was it? Vince, maybe the Vince Wilforks, or even no, not Vince. Titans defensive end, Jarrell Casey. I would consider him closer to those guys.
Okay,
Great in their own right. Great players.
Yeah.
Great players.
I'm not mad at it, but he's a traditional 4-3 D tackle. Like,
for sure,
he's not a nose tackle. He's a 4-3 D tackle. So yeah, he absolutely.
And he's more than 3-tech tag like that.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But now we're gonna move to our last topic, and I just want to see if you have any. You got any hot takes for us, Coach? Do you have any hot takes?
So I do have a hot take, and this is one that I've been kind of cooking up a little bit. It's not super hot, but I think it's going to be a 3-way trade on draft night with the Jets, the Packers, and Tampa Bay Bucks. Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay. I feel like the Bucks will send Devin White over, and they will get actually Zach Wilson. And the Packers, they will go ahead and get, guess who? Devin White. So Packers, they're getting Devin White. Packers are sending Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Jets are sending Zach Wilson down to Tampa. And it's going to be a competition between him and, if I'm not mistaken, Baker, for seeing who is going to take over for Tom. Again, it's not super hot, but yeah.
I'm actually not mad at that.
And it works. It's a win-win for everyone. Devin White wants out. Give him somewhere. The Packers need linebacker help. That would be a great linebacker for him. Probably with Quay Walker and Mr. Wyatt down there and the D. Man, listen.
That's
again.
I'm not mad at that. I don't. Yeah, that's a really good hot take. That's an amazing hot take. I'm not mad at that at all. I mean, the only thing I'm mad about is Zach Wilson to the Bucks because he's absolute poop at this point. But I'm not mad at
someone's going to want to bet on a guy that had first round talent.
I would love to watch him. I would love to watch him compete with Baker for the starting spot. That would, yeah.
And I also think that would be great competition to making Baker actually step up to that number one guy because now you have again 2 former high first overall picks or at least high first round picks competing to take over the greatest of all time.
Listen, man,
with weapons down there in Tampa still.
Listen, man. Tyrod Taylor couldn't do it. Tyrod Taylor couldn't do it. Sam Darnold couldn't do it. Yeah. Nobody is going to make Baker Mayfield step up. Baker Mayfield is Baker Mayfield at this point in his career. He is who he is, okay? He is who he is. All right. There we go. Oh, Patriots.
I'm lagging again. Time to go. Lagging again.
Oh, man.
Disrespect.
Well, that would be a really interesting trade there. Jets trade them, and instead of the Bucks just being a part of it, we throw Patriots in there. The Patriots send Mac Jones down to Tampa, the Zach Wilson up to the New England. Listen,
that's disgusting.
This is a real crazy draft night, people.
That is disgusting. I don't want to
crazy. All right, Darius. Any hot takes?
Hot takes. I don't really. Let's see. Like for the all season or just
period.
I don't really have none.
Okay.
I don't have none. I don't have no hot takes.
All good. All right, my hot take is, and I've said this before, I don't think I said it on the podcast though. My hot take is that Lamar Jackson does indeed get traded, not to Atlanta, but he does get traded. The Baltimore Ravens then take some of that draft capital and move up and draft Anthony Richardson out of Florida. That is
I don't like it. Count your days, Avery. Count your days. I don't like it. I don't like it. Count your days, man. Not Anthony Richardson. Come on, man. I like the talent. I like the upside, but not for a proven commodity that was a former MVP in this league. Come on.
Hot take, man. Anthony Richardson.
I think Eagles missed the playoffs. That's what I think. The Eagles missed the playoffs.
Ooh, it's getting smoky in here. It's getting
missed the playoffs.
smoky in here. Okay. All right. Well, listen, I think Anthony Richardson in Baltimore, they don't have to change their offense now. You got somebody with a cannon.
Again, I like the idea. I love it, but why go to a guy you got to start over with when you got a guy that's proven?
Just saying, man. You got a new offensive coordinator in there, too. Got him some weapons already. I'm just, that's all I'm saying. But, yeah, man, that'll be it for the Hot Take Thursday. We don't have the one and only on here, so there's no unzip the hoodie, unfortunately. And there's no football, so there's no game picks.
It's a little sad, people. It's a little sad, but
Deontay in the chat, let Lamar go. Draft Anthony Richardson. Let Snoop start. We'll be all right, but we're changing the offense regardless. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is.
Deontay, me and you can argue about it later, but nah.
Dropping the mic.
Nah, give me the commodity. Give me my commodity.
Mic. I like it. All I'm saying, man, Anthony Richardson of Baltimore. Anthony Richardson.
That 1-5 gonna look good in Baltimore.
And also, I'm not for the Snoop starting. Snoop to me is our Nick Foles at his height. When we need him to step in, he's gonna do what we need him to do. But he's not a starting quarterback.
Who?
Snoop.
Don't disrespect
my guy, Mr. Tyler Huntley.
Don't disrespect that man. That man got a Pro Bowl and was out there balling. Don't even
Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on his name.
We got a Pro Bowl.
Put some respect on his name.
Listen, we won't take it personal all we like, but again, Nick Foles got a Pro Bowl. Just saying.
It's spicy up here.
It's getting real.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we play out this year, and y'all come to.
That is it for the
play out this year. Y'all come into Foxborough.
It has been a pleasure.
We're gonna beat y'all. We're gonna make Jalen Hurts look like a rookie. We're
gonna
blow y'all out.
Follow us
on all blow y'all out. Mac Jones gonna throw for 400 yards.
Follow us on
all the social media platforms:
YouTube,
Instagram, Facebook.
Inside 450,
Twitter, Inside Hashes, and did you know we're on Spotify? If you didn't know, go check us out on Spotify, and then go to YouTube, hit the like and hit the notification button, and so you can get your comments put into the channel, just like this, where Deontay says you cannot judge someone off what they did as a backup. Let him start and be treated as a starter. He'll be all right. Gonna be like the Super Bowl again, huh? Ooh.
Wait, we beat y'all, right?
Here. It's spicy in here, boy, oh boy. But anyway, like I said,
we gonna beat y'all. It's okay.
Hit the notification button.
Don't hide when we beat y'all.
Don't forget to subscribe, and then go check out the website, www.insidethehashes.com, where you will find all of your football content, blog, interviews, podcasts, everything. He's saying, Pat.
Nobody let me cook because these Eagles fans.
Listen, all I'm saying is
they got losing the Super Bowl.
If you can't do all those things at once, it's okay. Do me a favor and scan this QR code right here. It'll take you exactly where you need to be. Scan that QR code. This was the Air It Out podcast brought to you by Inside the Hashes. That's Coach. That's Darius.
That's our resident Patriots phenom.
Hashtag 450.
My name is Avery.
450. Let me hear it. 450. Let me hear it.
The smoke is still continuing. It doesn't matter though, because all I'm saying is Matt Ryan, if he stopped.
Oh my God, he's not even on the team. He's not even on the team. He patted himself out the league. Exactly what he patted himself out the league. No, we're not doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna beat the Eagles.
Come on,
Jalen Hurts going to throw 4 interceptions.
He's got to stop patting.